Your Excellency, Principal of Sidkia Islamic Junior High School, Mr. Haji Muhammad Taufik, SPD, an honorable mention, our beloved teachers and staffs of Sidkia Islamic Junior High School, and my beloved friends and listeners anywhere and anytime. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida yuslih lakum a'malakum wa yaghfir lakum dhunubakum wa may yuti'illaha wa rasulahu faqad faza fawzan 'azima. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'dah. Allahumma shalli wa sallim ala sayidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. First of all, there is no word better than to praise to our God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to begin our activities. We thank for everything He has given us blessing and mercies, so we can run our worships in this Ramadan. Secondly, peace and salutation are forever given to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to his family, his companions, and all the believers anywhere and anytime. Sisters and brothers, before we talk further, I'd like to introduce myself first. Hello, my name is Abdillah Sakha Wibowo from grade 9 Qatar. On this happy occasion, I'll discuss about improve our selfies with thinking positively and good deeds. Let's start our first discussion with why we should improve our selfies. Being a great Muslim is the dream of every human being, especially for Muslims. Islam teaches its followers to always be human beings who have a great and noble personality. For this reason, there are several things that Muslim must focus on in order to become a great person. One of them focus on worshipping to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because when someone has focused on worshipping to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, to worship will produce the energy that has the power to change and the power to move for goodness and truth. One of ways to develop our personality is by doing good deeds. Then, what is good deeds? To know the meaning of good deeds, we have to look up in Al-Quran Surah Al-Asr verse 2 and 3. A'udhu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Innal insana lafi khusrin illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Indeed, mankind is in loss, except those who believe and do righteousness, and advise one another to righteousness, and advise one another to patience. The first affirm that indeed humans are in loss, except those who doing righteous deeds. Ladies and gentlemen, the word good deeds comes from the word amilus, which means any action that benefits oneself or others. Between faith and good deeds is a unity and cannot be separated. For example, someone who believes without being followed by good deeds, then his faith is meaningless. Conversely, good deeds without being based on true faith are of no value before Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Faith must be proven by good deeds, and good deeds must be based on true faith. The opposite of righteous deeds is sayyah deeds, which are deeds that cause harm to both the one who did it and others. What allows for someone who does bad things in this world, even though this world is a field of charity for the afterlife? Every good or bad deed, no matter how small it is, it will still get a fair reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah said in Al-Quran, A'udhu billahi minasyaitonir rajim, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. So whoever does a good deed as heavy as mustard seed, he will see his reward. And whoever does an evil deed as heavy as mustard seed, he will see his reward. Quran Surah Az-Zalzalah verse 7 and 8. Sisters and brothers, have you ever seen someone doing charity but very little? Don't underestimate him or insult him because of his little deeds. Because the value of the deed doesn't solely depend on how much or little it is, but also lies in its sincerity. While the value of the sincerity of one's charity only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Allah loves a servant who does charity continuously even though it is a little. Indeed, the best thing is to do is by doing a lot of charity and be sincere, and do it continuously. The Messenger, peace be upon him, once said, لا تحقرن من المعروف شيئا ولو أن تلقى أخاك بوجه طليق. The meaning is, never scorn a good deed, no matter how small, even if it's only a greeting to your brother with a radiant face. Know that there are three kinds of good deeds, such as righteous deeds towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like Sakha, fasting, praying, or read Quran, and do worships. Second, righteous deeds towards humans. It's like giving a smile, speaking politely, and being friendly. And righteous deeds towards environment, such as greening, recycling, and throwing garbage in its place. In addition to these three good deeds, there is a good deed called Amal Jariyah. Amal Jariyah is an act of goodness that is done sincerely, with the expectation of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and brings rewards to the person who does it, even though he has died. The reward of Jariyah will continue to flow as long as the living person can still utilize the results of kindness he left behind in the world. Rasulullah SAW said, إِذَا مَاتَ الْإِنسَانُ قَطَعَ عَنْهُ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثَةٍ إِلَّا مِنْ صَدَقَةٍ جَارِيَّةٍ أَوْ عِلْمٍ يُنْتَفَعُ بِهِ أَوْ وَلِدٍ صَالِحٍ يَدْعُو لَهُ. When a man dies, all his deeds are cut off except three things: charity, knowledge that benefits him, and children and righteous children who pray for him. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our discussion on being kind. It is a praiseworthy behavior that every Muslim should have. In Arabic, praiseworthy is husnuzan, and the opposite of husnuzan is su'uzan, or having a bad opinion. Allah forbids prejudice or su'uzan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Al-Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. O you who believe, avoid much prejudice. Indeed, some prejudice is sin. And do not find fault with others, and let not some of you backbite others. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Surely you are disgusted, and fear Allah. Surely Allah is oft returning, most merciful. I hope that the Kultum that I convey can fill our personalities with good thoughts and do righteous deeds in this world for hereafter. Akhirul kalam wa idina siratal mustaqim. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.